That's our daughter, Joanne. She's 19 and couldn't be happier. This is my wife, Marion, the real head of the house. And I'm Bob Henry. We used to live up north, but this is our home now in Tampa, Florida. I'm what you might call a small manufacturer. My plant turns out precision machine parts. Now, it too is in Tampa. How all this came about is quite an interesting story. Here's how it started. See those Moorish minarets? That's the University of Tampa. 60 years ago, the most fashionable hotel in Florida. Long before Joanne graduated from high school, she had expressed a desire to attend college in Tampa. Well, one reason was her best girlfriend was going there. We'd been reading a lot about Florida and knew that Tampa had 3 universities and was one of the state's educational centers. So we had agreed. When she started writing very appealing letters home and didn't always ask for money, I should have realized that she was after something. In every letter, she told us how she enjoyed living in Tampa, mentioned its fine churches and its new parks and schools. Naturally, she told us all about her activities at the university, the new buildings and the pleasant riverfront campus right downtown. It seems she had been dating a boy who attended the new University of South Florida in Tampa, and she described the campus and buildings as being very impressive. She also told us about Florida College and many other educational facilities in Tampa. We could tell right off that she was happy. She wrote that swimming in the middle of the winter was great fun, and that sailing, in her words, was the most. She sent us picture postcards of Tampa's scenic waterfront with its lovely tropical landscape and flowers blooming in midwinter. Yes, Joanne was really pulling at our heartstrings to come down to Tampa for a long winter holiday that year. That's just the beginning of how we discovered Tampa. So here we are, my wife and I, in Tampa. It was good to see the happy, smiling face of our daughter as we left the plane. It was also good to feel that warm winter sunshine. As we drove into town from the airport, we passed by many lovely resort motels and inns. However, we had made reservations in a downtown hotel because it was just a few blocks from the university campus. We found right away that Tampa has a pleasant, casual way of living. Joanne was the first one in the pool, but it didn't take long for us to change into carefree sport clothes and begin soaking up some of Tampa's June and January weather. We were on vacation, but we'd soon learn that Joanne had some plans of her own for us. First thing on her schedule was a drive around town, tourist style. It was an impressive sight, too, not like back home. At a time when many cities are expanding only in the direction of suburban shopping centers, Tampa's downtown area is also expanding at an ever-increasing rate with new buildings and modernizations everywhere. Here is a city with a constantly changing skyline. Before you know it, those steel skeletons will be transformed into striking new buildings like these. Because I attend 2 or 3 conventions a year, I was impressed with Tampa's giant new convention and cultural affairs complex, situated on the riverfront right downtown. An easy walk from our hotel, the convention center seats 8,000 and provides every facility you can think of. Seeing this, it was easy to understand how true was Tampa's convention slogan, "You'll get more done and still have fun." Not far from the downtown section, we drove along Tampa's palm-lined bayshore, enjoying the warm winter sunshine. I was intrigued by the islands out in the bay. Davis Island is a remarkable development. a completely man-made residential area dredged up out of the bay. Less than a mile from the center of Tampa, it makes a beautiful setting for many attractive homes and modern apartments. It was just like springtime, driving around with the many flowering trees and shrubs in bloom everywhere. This glistening white span is Howard Franklin Bridge. It crosses over the fine fishing waters of Tampa Bay. Part of the important interstate highway system, it is one of the 3 bridges connecting Tampa and St. Petersburg, and is a direct route to the Gulf beaches, which all of the Tampa area shares with summer and winter visitors. Tampa's own municipal beach on Courtney Campbell Causeway, leading to Clearwater, was another wonderful place to have fun together. Wholesome outdoor family fun. It was Joanne's favorite playground. Several days later, while she and her mother were making a day of it on the beach with some of Joanne's classmates, I had a date for golf with Tampa's Chamber of Commerce president and some of his business friends. I know I was supposed to be on holiday, but several important things were beginning to take shape in my mind. This market area, one of the fastest growing in the country, could be important to my own plant expansion program. These men had the answers to my questions and were quick to oblige. You can see I was playing with some stiff competition. But by the time we had reached the 18th hole, I'd limbered up some myself. Hey, how about that? I had learned a lot during the round, but at the 19th hole is where I really got an industrialist's eye view of Tampa. I could see that these were men of action. Here was a city on the move, where industrial expansion was keyed to a rapidly growing local market. This is what I wanted to know. I was surprised to learn that many times the opening of a major plant in Tampa was a gala event. Industrial, civic, and business leaders of the community joined together to provide a proper welcome to new industry. This huge gypsum plant found in Tampa the right combination of port facilities and distribution advantages, plus an expanding consumer market for its finished products. There are more than 1,000 acres to Tampa's planned industrial park, rated as one of the 10 top parks in the nation. Conceived as a complex to accommodate many diversified industries, its imposing new plants are often as beautiful as they are functional. With spacious lawns and tropical landscaping, they have that true Florida look. On the other hand, Tampa's heavy industry is typified by these roaring electric furnaces, reclaiming scrap iron and converting it into molten steel. The red-hot ingots are sent through the rolling mill, where they are shaped into reinforcing rods to keep pace with the construction demands in the nation's fastest-growing state. In another Tampa plant, electrical wire and cable are produced to meet these same growing demands. The purest silica sand from Florida's own rich deposits becomes the molten ruby globules to be blown and formed into bottles necessary to meet the growing needs of Tampa's many bottling industries. Other container corporations have established plants here, and tin cans come off the assembly line by the billions. I could see that Tampa's industrial growth is well balanced. In more than 600 plants, there are all kinds of manufacturing. I could see, too, that here was a ready-made market for the products of our own factory. This color lab in Tampa turns out some of the nation's finest color prints, and in some of the largest sizes, like this aerial view of downtown Tampa. Large, too, is Tampa's transportation picture. A network of arterial highways spread out from Tampa, linking it with every major market in the South. I was amazed to learn that 10 major airlines serve Tampa's international airport, offering the tourist or the businessman a choice of over 150 scheduled flights. I was happy, too, that by jet, New York was only 2 hours and 10 minutes away, and it was only a little over 4 hours to the West Coast. More of the questions running through my mind were being answered. Tampa's transportation facilities looked good to me from every angle: rail, truck, barge, ship, or air. They were all there, plus adequate warehousing facilities. Tampa's deepwater port is one of the largest and busiest ports in the Southeast. This distribution center is port of call for ships from Central and South America, from Europe, Africa, and the Orient. From the tropics come coconuts, pineapples, and bananas. Loaded directly from ship to refrigerated trucks, the stalks of green bananas will ripen on their way to northern markets. Tampa is the nearest deepwater port to the Panama Canal and the trade of the Pacific. More than 3,000 ships annually discharge and take on cargo, 15.5 million tons of it. Yes, Tampa's port facilities have done much to attract industry to this city. Add to this an adequate labor pool and quick, easy access to all of Florida's $10 billion retail market, and you can quickly see why Tampa is known as the industrial hub of Florida. I learned that phosphate and fertilizer materials comprise Tampa's #1 export commodity, making it the greatest phosphate port in the world. Florida produces 3/4 of the world's phosphate, valued annually at nearly $70 million. Much of it is mined in the Tampa area and exported in ships of all nations. Tampa's own fertilizer industry uses a lot of phosphate, as well as imports of nitrates and sulfur. And Tampa's shrimp fleet is one of the world's largest. These picturesque boats bring their cargoes of pink gold, 8 million pounds of it a year, to the processors and distributors on the Tampa waterfront. There's nothing quite like the savory flavor of a fresh shrimp cocktail. Tampa has many fine restaurants, and many of them are famous for their menus of Florida seafood delicacies. Even dining in Tampa takes on an international atmosphere. The flavors of the sea mixed with shish kebabs of the Middle East, and pastries to delight the gourmets of the world. I decided to leave the calories for the girls to count. For me, the crowning of that regal dinner was one of Tampa's famous handmade cigars. The colorful cigar factories play an important part in Tampa's economy. Tampa leads the world in fine handmade cigars, rolled by Spanish workers who are masters of their craft. Tampa's annual output of cigars is more than 700 million, and they justify the slogan, "The best cigars in the world are made in Tampa." There's a lighter side to Tampa's industrial atmosphere, too, for many of the plants offer conducted tours, entertaining and informative for the whole family. Fanciest of these is the fabulous Busch Gardens, a 15-acre paradise for exotic birds, graceful flamingos, brilliant parrots, and macaws. It has become one of the leading tourist attractions in Florida, and there's quite a thrill viewing the gardens from the longest outdoor escalator in the world. We had barely started our tour of the gardens when we ran into a former business acquaintance of mine, Mr. August Busch, the creator of this scenic tropical wonderland. After introductions, he told us to make ourselves at home, and we did, just like 1.5 million other tourists do every year. We joined the crowd at the bird show. The kids really got a kick out of Polly's beaky but gentle kisses. To get his reward, This macaw went hunting right in the MC's mouth. The Cockatoo Act was a real live carousel powered by a one-cockatoo engine. It was amazing to see the many different tricks that the macaws had been trained to do. And away she goes. But the finale is a real slide for life in a daring aerial act, just like Under the Big Top. Our vacation would not have been complete without a visit to Tampa's famed Latin quarter, Ybor City. A casual stroll along the mall brought us face to face with the beauty of old Spain. These girls turned out to be classmates of Joanne's, all decked out in their fine, lacy mantillas. I wasn't hard to convince when Joanne suggested we eat at one of Tampa's famous Spanish restaurants. The atmosphere of the patio garden creates the illusion of a trip to the old world. But there was no illusion in the culinary art of these Tampa chefs. For us, our choice was the specialty of the house, arroz con pollo, a delicious chicken and yellow rice dish cooked the savory Spanish way. More than 50,000 of Tampa's population are of Spanish extraction. One of the biggest annual events is the colorful week-long Latin American Fiesta. There is a solemn moment at the coronation when the Queen is crowned amid the pomp and ceremony of regal splendor.
Thank you. If you play this way, tomorrow night we'll have an excellent concert. Now start everything from beginning.
In addition to the Tampa Philharmonic Orchestra, under the guidance of the renowned musical director Alfredo Antonini, there are many cultural affairs in Tampa. The annual gala was but one of the events we attended. There are art centers, the theater, ballet, and several municipal museums. Tampa's social atmosphere and the outdoors are blended at the annual horse show. Owners, trainers, and skilled riders meet here from all over the United States in friendly competition. Tennis in Tampa has rapidly grown into an international affair, with players coming from Germany, Australia, South America, and other foreign lands to compete in the now world-famous Dixie International Tennis Tournament. By the 1st of March, the big league baseball teams have moved into South Florida for spring training. The Cincinnati Reds make Tampa their headquarters. Tireless mechanical pitchers help the boys out with their batting average, while the real pitchers warm up for the springtime game. At Al Lopez Field, the cry is play ball. The snow is still flying up north, but it's shirt sleeve weather for the fans here in Tampa. Tampa's High Fronton is the home of the world's fastest game. Using these baskets called cestas, the players send the special handmade leather balls bouncing off the walls like tiny missiles, better than 150 miles an hour. You might call that space-age handball. And they're off. Spirited horses and their jockeys vying for the lead in the daily racing during the height of the winter season at nearby Sunshine Park. The dogs have their days and nights, too. This was new to me, and I really got a thrill watching those sleek greyhounds run. The spell was on my wife, too. And we had beginner's luck. We won. I had heard the fishing in the Tampa Bay area was really something. Many people like bridge fishing, where they have catwalks just to make the angler's day more fun. The biggest fishing thrill was hooking into one of those silver kings, the leaping tarpon. They tell me that during the tarpon tournament, they catch them in the river right in the heart of downtown Tampa. But with Joanne calling the shots, I suppose fishing would have to wait. Her boyfriend had a boat, and so we went water skiing. I felt pretty silly when Marion took off and left me cooling my skis in the drink. She was doing fine. Next time around, we both made it up. We were having more fun than a couple of kids. And when it comes to fun for the kids, Tampa has that, too. Fairyland is a delightful city park where the characters of Mother Goose seem to come alive. It's a Humpty Dumpty land. The old woman that lived in a shoe, Little Bo Peep, Willie and the Whale, and all the others. There are rides and slides, a whole world of fun. Hillsborough River State Park is just a short drive from downtown Tampa. This is only one of many parks and playground areas. I could see it was easy for youngsters and grown-ups alike to lead the more abundant life in Tampa and the surrounding countryside. And a trip into the countryside gave us a good look at Hillsborough County's rich agricultural resources. 2/3 of Florida's citrus groves are in the Tampa area. There's quite a thrill to picking your first orange. We were told that most of the citrus goes to processing plants here in the Tampa area. The fertile fields around Ruskin and Plant City are often referred to as the salad bowl of the nation because of the great variety of vegetables grown in the winter season. Ruskin is a vegetable kingdom all its own. It's as proud of its tomatoes as of these golden ears, packed in plastic and delivered chilled and dewy fresh to the markets of the north. Even berry picking has taken on a mechanized look in this progressive agricultural area. In fact, Plant City is known as the winter strawberry capital of the world. Luscious red strawberries, Florida's most colorful winter crop. We drove through some of the great cattle-raising areas and saw herds of dairy and beef cattle. In fact, Hillsborough is the leading dairy county in Florida. It also has more beef per acre than any other Florida county. I was interested to see white-faced Herefords in with the humpback Brahmas and sturdy black Angus. Well-planned crossbreeding of purebreds has developed prime beefsteaks, and the beef is processed and aged right here in Tampa. But now it's February, carnival time, and the Florida State Fair opens, a 50-year-old event in Tampa. Here is the world's largest midwinter exposition. The Sunshine State's golden harvest, the finest oranges, grapefruit, and tangerines grown in Florida were spread before us. A real blue ribbon fruit. It's the beginning of the world-famous Gasparilla pirate invasion of Tampa. Along with the Florida State Fair, this annual event is a unique festival when normally sedate Tampa businessmen and civic leaders don gay costumes, and special makeup turns them into 18th century buccaneers, modern-day counterparts of the infamous Jose Gaspar, who whose cutthroat band sailed these waters 100 years ago. From the decks of the three-masted pirate ship, named the Jose Gasparilla, hundreds of gaily costumed pirates attacked the city. We watched the ship storm the harbor defenses with the booming of cannons and small arms fire, and the city surrendered, just as it has every February for more than 50 years. After the modern-day pirates land, they immediately stage a triumphal parade. It's the climax of the winter season on Florida's west coast. Spectacular, unique in American pageantry. And we could see why it has been acclaimed the nation's #1 spectacle parade. It was a balmy 75 degrees this February day. We had seats on Tampa's Bayshore Boulevard, from where we could see both the invasion and the parade, along with the 700,000 others that make up the largest single-day crowd in Florida. There are no less than 30 bands and 60 floats in the parade of the pirates, and we thought Joanne looked mighty pretty on one of them. That's a picture I won't forget. 2 nights later, we thrilled at the sight of the blazing torchlight night parade through the streets of Ybor City, Tampa's colorful Latin Quarter, and we watched the dazzling climax to a joyful week of high carnival in Tampa. Oh, there's lots more to be told about Tampa, but this is just the story of how we discovered Tampa. Our visit last winter with Joanne truly became a vacation with a future, a place where we could work and play the very same day. Why don't you discover Tampa for yourself?